we go. We already go. All right. Hello, everybody. That was weird. I actually had to hit that button twice. Hello, everybody. We're here. Welcome. To anybody who's here from the main channel, because I'm probably going to also link this there. Again, welcome. This is probably your first time being here, because most of the time, it's just on the main channel, and at most, it's maybe the side channel where I do a few smaller things. That's about it. But yeah, welcome to the React channel where not actually a lot happens because I don't like to do reaction focused content and I usually like to talk a lot, but that is kind of what happens here. So welcome. We're finally gonna get to watch episode 1 today, which I am very excited about. So much so that I had a whole lot of butterflies and I was real nervous about starting this whole thing because it's exciting, but at the same time I'm sitting here thinking like fuck, I really gotta sit down and record for an hour and a half on all this, and I'm gonna be talking, and I hope people don't mind, right? Just me giving some thoughts. Anyways, for anybody new, because I do want to state this, I do have two things to say. The second thing is more so for everybody, not just for people new, as well as people coming here possibly from the main channel, wherever it may be. Maybe you're not even from the main channel, but you're not seeing this as an anime only. That second part will be for you and all that, as well as just new people as well. But first part, uh, just to make it clear for people who might be watching this who are anime only. Hi, I'm Niab. I've done videos on the series. Funny enough, I do have a review for the latest volume, not released properly, but released in terms of the web novel, coming out soon. Uh, that is a while away from what we're viewing today. Um, but as a result, it should be obvious. I do already know all the events happening here and everything. So it is a thing of like, so this is arc 5, which is, might sound confusing to people who are anime only, but to essentially explain it, 4 arcs have been covered so far. Season 2 was arc 4, technically, with the exception of the first episode. The very first episode was the end of the third arc, which was episodes 12 to that, essentially. Then there's arc 2, which is like 4 to 11. Yes, I was trying to make sure. I was trying to like think about that in my head. I'm like, yeah, 11's correct. And then 1 to 3, like from the very beginning, right, is arc 1, right? Simple enough. So what we're watching today is arc 5, and that's probably what we're watching all the way up until the end of February, which should be, well, not end of February, because February is when it starts up again, not when it ends. Um, all the way up until, I'm gonna say like March or April, something like that, right? Then they also have a stage in March, which we might hear about Arc 6. At least I believe they have a stage. I've been told that. I don't fully know. But there's that. Anyways, main point I'm trying to get across with this, because I don't want to spend too much time on this and then, kind of fuck things up. Main point I want to get across is I've seen this, and I am very excited for this. And I think a lot of you, like everybody will have differing opinions, but I think a lot of you should be excited for this because even though it's my own personal opinion, how I would rank this arc we're going to watch is the second highest for me, right? We have arc 6 at the top, right? You might have heard people talking about arc 6. That's personally my favorite as well. That's a really damn good arc, and that'll be the next thing they cover, right? So there's that at the top. Then there's this, which is, the arc we're going to watch. That's right after. Then there's arc 8, which will be a while. Then there's 3. I think after 3, I put 4. I believe I put 4, which was, like I said, season 2. Then 7, then 2, then 1. So, and by the way, all of those arcs are still good. Like, I think ReZero is one of the few series where I do have it as, like, it's good regardless of the arc, right? It's my second favorite series. I literally, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't. I was thinking about it for a minute. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't actually. Um, but I do have a tattoo here from ReZero and everything, so it's like, I do really love this series. Um, I guarantee that people, if somebody's from the main channel watching this, they're gonna see me do that and they're gonna be like, yeah, what? Right? They're gonna like just try and tell me to stop. And yeah, don't worry, I made sure to think of that ahead of time. Anyways, this should be very exciting. I think A lot of people are probably going to really enjoy this arc. I'm really going to enjoy this arc. It looks fantastic just from trailers. I am very excited to watch. Um, I actually forgot to make sure I have it subbed, but it's probably subbed. I don't even know if it's dubbed from the get-go, because I know stuff like Dragon Ball Daima isn't going to be dubbed like from the get-go. That's going to be like a month later. So it might not be. Yeah, with that out of the way, I would like to get to my second point, which is something I want to preface to anybody who is not an anime only coming over here. And this is also important for anime onlys, but I want to preface it to people coming over. Seen some tweets obviously talking about this, and I also want to spread the message of it. We as a community aren't necessarily bad with this compared to stuff like a lot of popular Jump series like Bleach, One Piece, Jujutsu. I know with all of those you cannot go anywhere without spoilers, right? However, I'll be honest, our community isn't the best with spoilers. So I'm going to ask if anybody is not anime only and you want to make a spoiler comment. There's two options. Either one, refrain from doing so, right? Which is not the immediate option I'm going to say go to, right? There's the second one, and that one's the most important. But if for some reason the second one doesn't seem worth it, just refrain. Uh, the second option is just hit enter a button, like put spoilers on the start your comment essentially. Hit enter a bunch, and then make it so that YouTube automatically puts the spoiler and read more. That way, if somebody who's anime only is going to the comments, they won't see it. And if they end up hitting read more, that's on them. That's not on you. That's not on me. That's on them for hitting read more, right? I'm not trying to like pin the blame on them, but it is a thing of like, well, don't hit read more if you see spoilers, right? Anyways, with that said, did the window get larger? Let me fix this just in case. No, that's not the right display capture. I think my window behind me, like this one, got larger for some reason, and I don't know why. No? Huh. Weird. It just looks larger on my end. Oh no, it is still a square. I'm seeing the square over here. Yeah. I have this. I didn't put the lights up because the problem is we're gonna have to avoid copyright. So I don't have volume, which is why you have the timer down there. And you'll have the subs, but they're reversed. You'll have this to sync it up, and then you'll have back here to show the footage, but much like the subtitles, it's also reversed. So there's that. Anyways, I'm very excited. I am overall gonna make comments about either stuff I forgot to mention with my review, stuff I just generally like, want to bring up, all that, maybe performances, right, whatever it may be, as well as the stuff here that's going to be exclusive to the light novel, essentially, compared to the web novel, which is what I read. So there is going to be differences in there, like I already know of some. So it's not surprising if I make some comments here and there and I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, I don't remember that, or oh, I heard about that, but I never really saw it, right? I am actually curious if they'll cover some of these short stories because, I mean, that'll at least be a good sign for the future, hopefully, you know? But all right. I think we're overall good to go. I think I've said everything I need to, right? I mentioned, Arc 9 review on the way, all that sort of stuff. Uh, Everything. I mean, I don't know when that's coming out. It's probably the end of the week. I'd say Friday or Saturday if people are coming from the main channel. That's when the Arc 9, well, not full, review, but the first volume, that's when that review will come out probably. Anyways, tab into this. I just want to make sure I'm tabbed in, just in case, right? And if I have to pause, I have to pause. I mean, I hope I don't have to pause too much, right? I'm hoping I can just talk and we don't have to worry about all that. I've wasted enough time as is. I'm very excited. I'm still a little nervous. I'm still a little nervous, but it's okay. All right, got my drink, got my food, just because. An hour and 30 isn't even the longest reaction we've done. I've done 6 Bleach episodes in one sitting. That's like the second most recent video. Oh boy. All right. That's also something I have to react to this week. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So definitely something I'm curious about is, yeah, this. I know I'm already starting off. Ooh, is those sounds are actually crisp. I could not even tell they were from the anime. I thought they were in the room. Um, Something I was curious about is this because, as some of you probably know, Mansion burned down in Arc 4. So a lot of this is a brand new location. I am going to turn this up a bit. Dude, he looks good. He looks good. I'm going to double check. I don't have music audio. Yeah. There we go. It does feel kind of crazy to watch this as it's coming out because I mean I started the series 2 or 3 years ago, so I was starting by the point that Arc 4 was already out. Dude, this new art director is so good. I might get into it more later just because I mean I can't say too much right now, of course. Um, but it does make sense for this to be 90 minutes. I might have even mentioned it in, like in my trailer reactions. I wasn't gonna actually mention back there. I do. It is something you could see with the web novel and the light novel, but I do love how much Beatrice and Subaru are able to always bounce off each other. It does make their dynamic really damn strong. Oh, what a good frame. I like that it was just a pause, like nothing said. Hmm. I love how everybody's hair looks. I've mentioned this before, but one of my complaints with White Fox in the past, one of my complaints with White Fox in the past is I'm not huge on how flat their hair looks sometimes. Also, there's Joshua. But yeah, one of my biggest complaints have like been with the like studios sometimes it's just how flat hair looks. It doesn't always happen, but I noticed it with AGK where it's like a lot of hair looked really flat, and it was just like But I love like Subaru's like Joshua's like everybody's hair here has lines separating everything. Like it feels proper to the series. I was talking there, so I didn't fully notice how they said Joshua's name, and then I did it again right then. cat is freaking out at the door, and I hope he stops. The goblin. Oh my god, his face there too. Ooh. I actually don't remember. I feel like this probably is just the first chapter as is. Because I don't remember how much actually happens in the first chapter. The- From what I remember, I could be wrong, but from what I remember, it's like, oh yeah, they explained to her that kissing doesn't make babies. They just did not further elaborate on anything regarding that because they're like, yeah, let's keep that info away from her. Well, not keep that info, but you know what I mean. That sounds bad. That sounds like I am ruining this character. That I'm not trying to with that. It's more so just like, the thought of that whole. I'm not going into it. Goblin is here. I'd possibly show him on camera, but at the same time, he might decide to just jump on the table because he sees it. I like his voice as Joshua. This is a good voice for him. It sounds proper, it sounds formal, but it sounds young, and that's done well. Like not super young at that as well. This is the type of voice I imagined. Here's the stuff because they showed an episode one trailer, and to my understanding, I I saw something in there that because my brother's been reading the light novel, I saw something in there that supposedly isn't actually in the light novel until later. So it does have me curious if they swapped some events around, or if that was just in the trailer and they just felt like showing it. I think it was in the episode one trailer, anyways. I could be mixing the previous one with the episode one trailer. Yep, the crystal. I honestly kind of forgot that that was the goal. Yeah, because that's essentially the goal is get Puck back. She looks really cute in the fucking like the window waving away. I like that. Hmm. People in the community aren't entirely huge on Puck, but I do think that like Puck's relationship with Amelia as this like parental figure does make it like sad when the whole Arc 4 thing happens and then you see her there and it's just like, oh man. Okay, I guess they did bring up Venice or Venezia, rather. I'm disgracing my own blood. Um, yeah, because the whole time I had been thinking, I'm like, oh, it's really similar to Water 7, which to be fair, in my opinion, it is still decently similar, and Tepe is like a huge One Piece fan. So it's like it is a thing of like, well, it wouldn't be surprising if Water 7 played a little bit into that. Especially because that's like one of One Piece's biggest, like most well-known arcs. I would possibly go as far as to say, I don't know, I guess Wano is probably the one people know more so now. But I do remember Water 7 being like the arc everybody talked about. Goblin, stop pacing around. There it is. Let's see what it looks like. I mean, I've seen the design, like, images on the website, but damn, Frederica looks really damn good. Like, damn, Garfield and his sister got some good ass redesigns. They look fantastic now. Like I said, I love this new, just like art director on there. Oh, he's coming up. Here, you can go on camera a little bit. Not great that he was brought in here, actually, because now I can't even get him up. Something I did actually want to point out with the art director, it's something I noticed with season 2. Very small thing, but it's a detail I like doing in my art. Um, oh, but is this the moment? No. Oh, this is him drinking. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. I remember this as well. I was thinking this was a moment a few minutes from now, probably, and I'm like, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I love this scene. But no, I do want to point out, um, a detail I like with the art of the series, even though it's like the art of ReZero is sometimes iffy, right? Sometimes designs aren't perfect. And I don't remember. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Dude, music cut, sound effects cut. He's just standing there. I guess it's really short in the light novel then. Because, yeah. This part is really sweet. I fucking love the detail that he comes in here every day and tells her about the day. Because that's what they agreed upon in Arc 2. It makes me actually want to like tear up a bit. Ah, fuck. They just show. Ah, that's kind of unfortunate. I was partially hoping they'd go a little bit more with that. It is shockingly faster than I remember. Like some of those scenes felt really long in the novel, but it might be for the sake of explaining certain things. And they might have changed it for the light novel. Again, I haven't seen the light novel entirely in that regard. Oh, this is an interesting visual. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I did not remember that detail of Krush and Anastasia were at the top. Like, it makes sense in regards to their philosophies and all that sort of shit, but I'm just sitting there thinking, like, really, Priscilla wasn't even super high up? Oh, they even go into the detail about her inheriting. Yeah. There's Schultz. For the first time, we actually get to see Schultz. Kind of crazy. He should have been there from the get go, but I do like that they actually get to show all of them in their own locations and everything. That's really cool. Um, oh shit, there's her team. There's like there's oh my god. Yeah, I was gonna point out earlier, and I can especially see it there. Um, a detail I do like about this series' art, though, regardless of my opinion on certain illustrations over others and all that sort of shit, is uh the eyelashes of characters is a very cool detail. It's something that I've started doing with my art, like just from the get-go, like when I started learning how to properly draw and everything. I love, female characters kind of having these more detailed eyelashes, even if it's like not super detailed. If it's just something like color, I do really like that. Um, and you can definitely see it here. You could not see it in season two for the most part. Maybe there were some moments in season two you could see it, and I just hadn't. But I had seen my brother and his friend watching, and I had assumed that they just kept them black like that. But here you can see she has like silver eyelashes, which is really nice. I love the idea of just, oh yeah, leading the carriage and then Beatrice watching to make sure he doesn't neglect the duty of, leading the carriage. Literally just being up front. And that's exactly why they have Beatrice up there. I forgot about that. We are getting to the town way faster than I thought. I mean, I know 90 minutes they're covering the whole first volume, but holy shit. Like, I can only assume it's already been like 10, maybe 15 at most, but like, there's a lot more to go. I think this is partially why it reminded me of Water 7 the most, because yeah, I know Venezia and all that. Like, it makes sense, right? That's the obvious connection you can make. But the fact that it kind of goes downwards, like, the outside is like a fortress, then it goes downwards. To me, that in my brain, I was always like, oh, that's literally the same thing as that, right? On top of the fact that I think that also had like a similar structure to how the whole thing works. Patrochet and the other dragons look great. I didn't even notice till now. They look great. This makes me so happy, man. What an absolute like strong comeback we're having. I already have a lot of praises to say, and we're on the lighter end of like this stuff. She's taller than I remember. She probably is that height normally, but she is taller than I remember. Honestly, it might have been the first few seasons of the anime that kind of fucked with my perception. Ooh, excuse me. Alright. Oh, right. I forgot Beatrice is there. Right. Absolutely love like Garfield and Mimi's dynamic. It's so damn good. And yeah, Otto being ignored. Everybody else getting comments and then he gets nothing. That's where they I wonder if this is where they elaborate on it. I don't remember. There it is. I hope that as like more info comes out in the actual series, like I'm not gonna properly go into it, obviously. But I love as more just info comes out in the proper series. It is just still a thing of like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like, especially when I was like reading some of the more like recent stuff, I'm like, man, I am so fucking curious. I is a gifted businessman, and then we don't talk about his yeah we don't talk about his personality. Big bonus they didn't show Klein, and that's for a good reason. I don't want to see him. Actually, don't even remember if they do show him in 5. So that's what okay. When they mentioned a tower originally, I didn't entirely imagine it looking like that. I honestly thought like square fortress kind of thing with the like crown sort of top to it. But I guess that also makes sense. Like that is just outright a tower. Oh right, yeah. Mm. I remembered only that like right, yeah, he gets seasick. This sort of stuff. I will say, I could be wrong. It doesn't seem like anything super important has been cut out yet, because they've kept a lot of good details in there that are important. But they are going by events faster. Now, obviously, it's an anime. You kind of have to do that. I don't blame them for doing that at all. But no, I was thinking like the tower isn't referring to City Hall, right? But it might be. Because in that case, yeah, I did imagine it as that, but I'm pretty sure I know what the tower is like referring to, but I don't want to elaborate too much. Um, but yeah, that's what I was mentioning is like, yeah, it does seem a lot faster than I had expected, but still good. Doesn't seem like much is cut out. Looks great. Okay, I'm gonna make this comment so people who are from the main channel know I am going to be open to her. I do actually like this music. That's an immediate good point. I like this music. I did mention in my review it might be better in the anime because there would be music. But I'm gonna have an open mind to Liliana because this is based on the light novel. For any anime onlys, I had to read her stuff via the web novel and her web novel chapters. Because they have a few focus on her. I don't think it's really a spoiler to say that. They have a few more that are more so focused on her. Um, Reading those chapters is like horrid. It is actually like really damn boring. It actually put me to sleep because it's from her perspective rather than like a third person sort of thing, and her perspective's not great. But to my understanding, the light novel changed it. Again, I'm going to keep an open perspective and just they did pick a really good VA for her. Like the actual music here sounds fantastic. Oh, the birds, birds. I feel like I'm listening to a sold out song. Oh wait, the subtitles aren't reversed. I just looked up and I'm like, yeah, the subtitles are going to be reversed. They aren't reversed. Did I do that last time? Huh. I hope that doesn't fuck with the copyright. If it's fine, honestly, we'll still upload it a-okay. Otherwise, I might have to blur that with editing, or rather, find a way to flip that with editing. Her design was also kind of worse in the light novel, considering she has a very childlike design. I mean, it already isn't super great, but it is like better than it was in the original series, which might sound insane to people who are anime only, but yeah, yeah. And honestly, I'm happy they censored it. I really am. That design to begin with was not super strong, and people who are usually complaining about that aren't even interested in the series. Trust me, I learned with people complaining about that with Skullgirls. Again, honestly, really good VA choice for this VA does really well, getting all sorts of different emotions in there. I like it a lot. I had also felt like I remembered them giving the implication that Liliana already knew them. Yeah, because I think one of the things is they imply that she's performed for them before. But you know what it might be? It might be, unless I missed some dialogue, probably from talking. Oh, that was actually a really good moment there. I like that. Actually, oh, maybe this is why. Or yeah, I remember the implication that, at least from what I remember, they. Oh, it's this dude. I remember this dude. I remember this dude for a very big reason because of one of the characters that I have very high up. But yeah, I feel like I remember Liliana knowing him in some way. I could be wrong, but I swear I remember them giving the implication that she'd performed before and they knew her. But I wouldn't be shocked if they changed that because that wouldn't make sense for the anime. Because it's a thing of, yeah, if you watch the anime only, that makes no sense of like, oh yeah, they know her. Something I will note about Liliana's character, I do enjoy her here, right? I have a problem with some of the chapter stuff I mentioned, but that was with the web novel and all that. Whatever. This is just like this part is not like she's funny here. All right, here's this motherfucker. This fucking creep of a character. Yeah, damn, they're going by this fast. You really, when you really think about it, using something explosive while he's holding Liliana is a little risky there. I will say, okay, that scene that thinking about it, I am surprised about because even if I don't like certain things about that, like, yeah, I forgot about this moment. You're the only one who has Amelia. Um, yeah, right. So I was mentioning the scene with Kirutaka or whatever. So as much as his personality isn't great, it is kind of surprising because I remember more happening in that scene. Like I remember them discussing more, so there's a chance they cut some of that out. It's also surprising if they did do that because it is a thing of like, well, depending on what they say in that conversation, I don't remember what, but depending on what they say, it might be, very important. Ooh, excuse me. Just going based off of, uh, the general thing that they're for. There he is. Mm. Oh, right. Yeah. I'm like, is he reacting because Rhino? Yeah. Dude, the single hand and everything. Fuck. Actually, I'm now realizing I can actually check the time. I, I was saying earlier, I'm like, surely it's like 10 minutes or something that would pass, but I'm like, I can literally see the time. Damn, we're only one third of the way done. That's kind of crazy to think. I'm trying to remember like what each of these chapters are in terms of web novel. Like this is especially why I'm surprised of how fast it's going in a sense. Not by any means a bad thing, at least to my knowledge, not right now, right? Because I don't remember some of the cut stuff if there is cut stuff. Um, that's partially why I'm surprised of how quick it goes because like these chapters are way larger in the actual series. Like the first 10 minutes were like 3 chapters or something like that. Which makes sense why, like, oh yeah, 90 minutes is the whole first volume. I'm just gonna lean back for now. I'm not gonna lock in yet. Shift this pillow around. Kind of funny to think Garfield doesn't actually have to take his shoes off because he doesn't have shoes. There they are. I really like how they look. Like both of them. Both of them feel very accurate to, the actual designs. And then, yeah, yeah. It is kind of funny, like myself included. They introduce you to Wilhelm. They introduce you to Reinhard. They mention like, oh yeah, Wilhelm married Theresia. They never actually make you think for a second, oh yeah, these two characters would be related. Like this would be just the outright family tree going down. I her. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say yeah. I think I remember it's because of the whole thing with that. Yeah. Uh, I was gonna mention her VA is doing a really good job as Krush. There's a significant difference between Krush now and Krush in Arc Free in terms of how she sounds. That's really damn good. Like it's like yeah, this feels like a character who's lost their memories, so they don't remember how they acted. Because I mean, the big thing is like, oh yeah, if Krush was here normally with her memories, she wouldn't be probably dressed like this. She'd probably have like a more like military sort of outfit on. It's always nice that those two have a good relationship, regardless of before or after. And there she is. I do really like this outfit for Felt, like the black, the jacket over it, the scarf. It looks really nice. Also feels like it fits the character. Because it's just like, yeah, here's the rebellious teen, essentially. As well as, her sitting at the end of the table rather than at an actual seat. That's a good detail. I do actually really like that. That probably was in the novel, and I just, don't remember it because it's a small thing, but this is like the whole strongest thing for him is one of my favorite aspects of his character arc, just because of like I gotta take a moment to enjoy this. I like that it's oversized. Like her hands don't even reach out the sleeves. Seeing that quote, dude, seeing that quote now, oh my lord. Also, damn, they put a lot of detail into drawing her there. Makes sense, but yeah, I think the I think what I was mentioning about Garfield and all that, the whole strongest sort of thing is a very interesting story arc for him, and actually, it is one of the reasons that this arc is so damn strong. Is like going into that. You are way taller than I remember you being. I guess compared to Kurosami, also there she is. This was one of the light novel things that I had heard about, which is why they updated her design. Because he starts imagining her being here. This does not happen in the web novel, by the way. But that's fine because the light novel is the more accurate one. That is also really interesting of just, oh yeah, him imagining like trying to be the strongest so hard that he's imagining her there and essentially just making fun of him and being like, oh yeah, you just got lucky killing me. Even though in actuality, it's like, no, it was a battle of endurance. He won the battle of endurance. Technically speaking, she's correct, but it's also like, well, once again, endurance. That said, I don't remember the zombie thing that happens like shortly after, and it's arc 4. This is not a spoiler. I don't remember if the zombie thing is a web novel exclusive or if that's in the light novel as well. Because if it is, it's like, okay, technically speaking, she's a little correct then. But still died anyways, so I mean, didn't really change much. If anything, she was like actually brain dead by that point. She was just focused on murder. They are handling this right now. Okay, yeah. So this is supposed to be. I also do really like this. This is supposed to be in volume 2. Because. Yeah, because it's a bunch of kids in a boat. And then Garfield goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is in volume 2. So they put it here instead. That's really interesting. That's also an interesting choice. Oh, I know why they made that choice. I know why they made that choice because this is supposed to be the same day that all of this stuff is happening. Yeah, I know why they made that choice. There it is. Get ready to hear that nickname a lot. I love it though. It's a fucking great nickname he gives himself. And then yeah, there's the parallel. Yeah, actually, you know what? Very smart of them. You know what? Very smart of them to put that there. Same day, and you get the play into it where it goes right to Subaru saying that. That works out well. That works out really well. Very smart. That's very smart, White Fox. Dude, this like has me so excited. This is so damn good. I'm excited for the rest of it. Green blob poison. Fuck, they're go. Oh, dude, I might end up crying with this episode. They're going into it now. I might just fucking cry. How the fuck do we still have like at least like 40 minutes left? How? I know like they still have a lot to cover, but oh my lord. Oh my god, I can already feel it in my eyes. Dude. They're even showing it, man. Oh my god, the detail on this, holy shit. This is one of the few moments. I mean, they cut away from it because there's more to go into there. This is one of the few moments in the web novel where I legitimately like teared up. It's one of the chapters towards the end of Arc 5, and I think one or two of the chapters in Arc 8 did that to me. Also, this is not me coping or anything or trying to make an excuse. I was just itchy there. I have not teared up yet. I will make an audible swear if I do. Also, I do really love this conversation. Oh, look at that smile on him. He's happy to indulge. I, w- I mean, this is just part of Arc 3, but for a second I thought they were going to show some of the EX novel, and I was going to be like, oh? Yep. Absurdly quiet, absurdly rude, and just focused on the sword, and then Teresia came into his life. As much as I want to use the Garfield frame from earlier as the thumbnail, I think I know who I'm going to use for the thumbnail. Ooh, excuse me. Yep. You already got two Beast achievements under your belt and also an Archbishop. I love this conversation. This is a really good conversation, even in like the novel. Obviously, this is a good one. I didn't imagine this setting for where they're talking, but honestly, it makes sense given the layout for how it's supposed to be. Is this where they elaborate on it? I don't remember. They drew him really well, dude. This might actually be where they go into it. Okay, so that implies they're gonna show Garfield stuff later, which is really interesting. So technically, some of it's being kept to like volume two where it belongs, but then at the same time, some of it isn't. Trying to fix the pillow again, just because the the fact the fact that she was stiff, she was like a sign. He just like picked her up and she's just. Actually, I was thinking about Garfield for a moment. I'm gonna keep something in mind for later, after the episode's over, because I think it might be a light novel thing, but I'm gonna keep something in mind that I want to point out. I'll just wait to see if it does happen, though. Oh, that's the actual outfit. I mean, she does like wear it in the arc and everything. It's just like surprised by it earlier because I feel like in general, Krush with her memories would probably wear it all the time. So foreign. I love this joke in the web novel. I mean, it makes sense for her to eat it, a little bit slower, but the implication in the web novel is this is like just absolute like Kirby going in like that's what Phelps doing. I'm just eating them constantly, and then Reinhardt's just making them. It's just like next. Like I don't want to say anything, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, I want to say stuff about not her, but more so. I forgot that's what. Yeah, but that does confirm to me, like, okay, yeah, so the tower is talking about what I think it's talking about, and then the city hall is separate. Because I figured as much because I'm like, I don't think City Hall was like a tower. I'm pretty sure it was like an actual like proper building. Yeah, good choice of song, Liliana, especially when they're sitting beside each other. Oh, right. I forgot this is what happens. This is a really great moment. Masterfully done. Unironically, this masterfully done. And I think what happens next. Yup. I was like, yeah, I think this is where Heinkel shows up. Mm, mm, mm. This is also a really good voice choice for him. Like Kaiba and Nanamis. Yeah, also, oh my lord. Bell's face really, really adds to it. Mm. Okay, so one of the scenes I thought is actually I just forgot this was part of it, so that makes sense. There is one that I do want to bring up though later, probably after it's done, because it is 100% not happening, which is fine. But mm, I never, I never fully realized the Van in their name is lowercase. I love that she's the one to go in there. Um, putting the pressure on him. No pressure on her, pressure on him. This is why we love her. And then felt really rubbing it in. And then Oh, dude, she even wears her heels inside. Really adds to, just her as a character. Damn, she looks fantastic. Like, especially in that part. Yep. Ooh. And there he is. They made her emote real well. And then, like, hiding her mouth with the fan, like usual. Is, hmm. It's definitely the same VA, but this definitely seems like a like slightly, just slightly deeper take on it, which fits the character. This might be the exact same like tone she took with season one, but I just don't fully remember. It has been a bit since I actually thought subbed essentially, because everybody I watch it with, it's mostly dubbed. And yeah, again, like she's drawn really well. Like holy shit. Excuse me. She should have like pointed this like fork at him, and just because of all the massive just like amount of shit he has, you just see like the fork like just split halfway. Just like, all right, man, you could put that down for a second. I'm just pointing. Mm. Oh, that was really well done and voiced. And there it is. Our first time seeing it. Think about it. What the fuck was she gonna do there? I mean, like, the obvious thing is, like, yeah, kill him, but, like, but just the idea of just, like, her being like, yeah, let me take out the Yang sword real quick. Dude, they're making her emote so damn well. They're doing this character some absolute fantastic justice, which has me excited for all the things to come. I also, I mean, just based off illustrations, I imagine the Yang sword being a little bit smaller in terms of length, but I guess it makes sense to be proper sword length. Yeah, so I wasn't sure if this scene was going to be earlier, but it does make sense to be right here. I totally forgot that, yeah, it would be right here. Again, there's still something I want to get to later, but we'll get to that when we get to that. think about it, illustration wise, you don't even see the yank. Like, I think it's written in there, but you don't even see it till like a illustration a few volumes from now. Yeah, I love this part a lot because as much as they're on iffy terms considering their last encounter, or at least Subaru is, it is a thing of like, yeah, it's this whole thing of he can't disrespect a superior, but he's really fucking glad that Subaru did. Because it's like, yeah, armor on his heart. Like, it essentially is that, is he has to act proper, he has to treat someone higher up with respect, because if he didn't give a shit about that, he probably would have said like every swear in the world to Heinkel about just, hey, fuck off, right? Essentially. I do really like that moment just because of that. Like, it's like, oh, that's good. This is also a detail I really like. I just kind of wanted to wait to talk about it. Is the fact that Wilhelm, Heinkel, and Reinhardt are all on different like sides in terms of who they align with. Yep. Dude, seeing the flashbacks is really funny because oh my god, the animation difference. Like you can really see it here. It is so different, whereas this looks like the series. Like this literally looks like what we remember seeing originally in the actual like novel and all that. This is so close to the actual art style. It's actually really nice. I like it a lot. My anime adaptation video feels slightly outdated because I think I might have brought up the animation. And now it feels outdated because this exists. Crazy how that got outdated in a matter of months. Although I guess at this point it's been a year since that video, but more so in terms of the trailer and everything. Oh fuck, here we go. They're walking around and there's 15 minutes left. I know what the last like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever the fuck are. Yeah, this is where they show her dancing. I kind of wish there was more shots rather than just the close up. Like I do want to actually see the dance unless there's more. The, the comparison of their faces, just like amazed, shocked, and then I won't lie, it doesn't feel like I've sat here for an hour and a half. Oh, the chill in that voice. Oh, I do like this aspect of her character. Also drawn really well there. I like that. But I guess it's like with the pacing and how quickly but still good it goes, it doesn't make you feel like you're sitting for an hour and a half, which is really nice. Because when I mentioned that Bleach reaction when I was doing like, oh, 6 episodes at once, that felt like I was sitting there for 6 episodes. So I was still entertained, but I did feel like man, I'm sitting here for a while. There's the quote. Here we go. Dude, they have bells going. That might have just been a thing in like the actual text, but oh my god, the bells. It's real simple, but just bells being there before this happens is like, oh, that's chilling. That almost makes you feel like that's the sound for yup, right here. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Fantastic voice work. Sounds kind, sounds very energetic, very happy. Serious. Yep. There we go. Oh, very interesting music for her, but honestly, it works. Yeah, there's the thinking about it. That's really clever that she does that to make them go silent and just pay attention. I just realized the thing I pointed out in the trailer, they are doing their best to either hide it or they are not focusing on it too much. Like they're making it blurred, they're making it small, like oh. It's begun. I'm just kind of letting this play. I wanna enjoy it. I don't want to make too many comments. There's the chain. She drags him out like that. Oh my god, it's so much worse than I thought. Oh my god, he's pissed himself in as well, and that makes sense. But like, oh my god, dude, this is way more fucked up than I thought it was. I thought it was just like, oh yeah, okay, now that you're all willing to confirm that for me, this kid right here, like, just like pick him up from like the like from the side or some shit. But like, oh my god, they were those quotes being. I'm convinced those quotes are being used because of fucking this was happening at the same time. Because I've seen that quote recently. Dude, the fact that she takes out the chain, throws it back, brings him out, like drags him on the floor, brings him up, and his legs are tied to his back via the chain. Like, oh my god, this is so much worse than I thought. This is like way more fucked up. Ooh, excuse me. Dude, and there's Spike too. Like, they focused on it a bit. They give a little bit of. Oh my god, the lighting that looks perfect, and especially with what's going on, this is perfect. This is done perfectly. Oh my lord. Dude, her voice acting. This was a really damn good VA pick. I think a lot of us, myself included, did expect something for the VA pick, but honestly, this is a really good one regardless. Is she just gonna like I just assumed she threw him, but like is she about to be like, yeah? Also, dude, this is masterfully done. The clapping, everything. Her screaming, the kids oh my god. Oh, she does this. That was masterfully done. That was legitimately perfect. I have no complaints. I have not a single complaint about that. That was beautiful. That didn't even feel like any. I mean, I don't think there would be anything cut out there, but that didn't even feel like anything was cut out. Anything like that. Just oh. I knew it was coming, and yet I felt on edge the whole time, dude. And like the filter when like it shows his face, but like the nose, and then all the. Oh, that's a beautiful title card. Are we gonna hear the opening? I think that's what this might be. Uh, I think it's the opening. Oh, it definitely is. This sounds really good. Okay, while this is playing and I enjoy it, like literally, I'm gonna take it in while it's playing. Um, that was really good. Um, This was fantastic. The one thing I was mentioning that I was curious about was Reinhardt and Garfield. I remember it's not going to happen at this point because this is way beyond that. Um, when they encountered each other and they go through the punch, I remember the implication with the web novel. At least I remember there being details of the two of them having a sparring match. Um, prior to Garfield saying that he's not the strongest and all that, right? But like shockingly, they didn't include that at all. That might be a light novel thing, right? I don't know. That wasn't included at all, which I'm kind of surprised about because that builds a lot more on the whole strong thing. There's Trigger. There's the confirmation that Trigger was working on this. Um, but uh, I was kind of surprised that it wasn't there because that sparring match like also helps build into the fact that he wants to be the strongest and he lost to him in that sparring match. But honestly, if it's not covered in the light novel, fine. If it doesn't have as much significance as I had thought, also fine. I just feel like that is a very strong story point as opposed to having him do the punch and then, you know, that's it, right? Like just being stopped and that's kind of the strongest. That said, Elsa being there and saying like, "Oh yeah, you won out of pure luck," that honestly kind of redeems it because then it's a thing of he got stopped by Reinhard, fucked over, and then this person that he did beat is literally sitting there like, "Yeah, by the way, you lost out of luck, or not lost. Sorry, I lost out of luck. It's like you had the better luck here, right?" That's clever, and it's like and it's also like a thing of just like his mind is fucking with him in that moment. It's not even like actual like that's not an actual ghost. That's just somebody there who like in his mind. Essentially, he's telling himself you're weak, right? Which is really great. Oh, CV tracks because slowly on. I assume that makes sense. Um, this sounds really good for an opening. But this was really fucking spectacular. Like, okay, first of all, animation wise, right? I've always thought ReZero's looked good, right? It's like decent and all that, but like it does have episodes where like, oh, it looks great, right? I've never thought anything like absurd. I think that now. I think legitimately Arc 5, I can already see fantastic shit here. I am hoping this art director can be on board for the whole series because this is fantastic. This looks fantastic. Frames are great. Characters' emotions are really good. I'm thinking back to the Garfield moment. That was beautiful, right? I want more of that. Um, I'm gonna pause the timer in a second. I'm gonna pause this and then the timer because it's probably almost at the end. Um, yeah, that was masterfully done, beautifully animated, like all that sort of shit. Um, voice acting, like new VAs, old VAs, all that. I think it's just done. Yeah, because it's just a second left. I'm just gonna pause that then. That's fine. We'll get rid of these for the time being, even though I will actually need them by the end of the week because uh I gotta do bleach. I'll just get rid of those for the time being, and we'll just leave it like this. I know it's gonna be a blurry background just because, yeah. Um, like I mentioned, I think I mentioned it anyways. The blur is helpful without the lights because that helps us avoid copyright. So not using the lights is actually to my benefit. Um, right. So I was saying, uh, voice acting absolutely spectacular as well. Like everything here feels fantastic, and it went through the events of 19 chapters like quickly but not super quickly, right? Each moment had at least 5 or 10 minutes spent on it, and that's really good. And more important scenes that were essentially longer chapters had actual like 10 or 15 minutes. That's really well done, right? Because it's like, oh, like for example, all of them eating and stuff like that. That was like 15 minutes. That makes sense. That's a long ass moment. That might even be 2 chapters. I don't even remember, but like that makes sense to do as this larger moment, so that takes up more time. And then the smaller stuff like the intro, where it's like, oh, here's everybody talking in the main camp, even though that takes a bit longer in the light novel and web novel because they talk a bit more about a few things and they give you a little recap on some stuff. It is a thing of overall that goes by quickly because you don't really need to, go through that too much. So I like that a lot, right? I don't know how much stuff was cut out. Like, I'm going purely off memory, right? I should have recapped myself, especially go through the light novel to know what's in there as additions. Um, I'll do that for Arc 6 because Arc 6 is my favorite arc, so I would absolutely love to read through it if I have the time. And then when we watch it, I am fully, like refreshed on it so I don't have to be like, "Oh wait, I remember." Um I might actually do that with Bleach before the end of this week so that I can do that for the first episode of Core 3. Um I mean, I already know some of the stuff that's different there. Uh, Come to think of it, my camera is so low that you can't even see. I did wear the Beatrice shirt today just because I felt like being fitting, right? But I'm now realizing that's not even captured on camera because of how high up the camera is. Curses of being tall. Um, but yeah, so I don't fully know if there was anything major that was fully cut out or whatever it may be, but from the general stuff I have, right, from all the story beats that I have in my brain, there is world building info that very clearly wasn't there. That's just like smaller things. But in terms of the large stuff, like actual major plot points, I didn't really notice much. And I think that to me is perfect, right? I know some people are going to complain. Some people are going to go be like, well, they need all the world building in there and everything like that. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have that. But that takes so much extra time. Like, here's the thing to note. Animes are great, and animes are essentially becoming the proper, well, not proper, but like essentially the way to experience a series in full, and like, you don't have to worry about anything else. You could just, oh yeah, watch through this whole series and enjoy it, and maybe then you'll buy merch or you'll buy the manga, right? But a big thing with animes in general is to promote the original series, right? When I did my anime adaptations video on my main channel, I talked about Medaka Box and how I found the adaptation unfortunate because if Trigger handled it, they were literally the perfect studio for a series like that. Like, quite literally the perfect studio for that type of series, right? They would have been, and it's like, it's a thing of like, oh yeah, but it was Gainax, except this was after Trigger split, all that sort of shit. But something to note with Medaka Box is part of that is also that it was made to promote the manga. The manga was reaching its conclusion, like it was on its final arc or two, like the last two arcs, I believe, somewhere around that. And as a result, the anime was used as promotion. That makes sense. So at the end of the day, that's kind of what happens. And while the anime does try to cover it to get you interested, that's the thing. The anime is getting you interested so that you go buy the original series and then you experience it again. Because a lot of people love to rewatch their favorite shit, and as a result, they also love to reread it. I've done that before. I literally did that with ReZero. I read through the original four arcs after I was caught up, right? So it's the thing of they cut out small details, and that's fine because every anime is going to do that. Like, if you were to say animes that like cut out those smaller things can't be like as like a high up series, like one of the like best of all time and stuff like that, my list would become so low. I think the only thing that would be on there is anything that's anime original and anything that it has an anime original adaptation. So like Devilman Crybaby, right? That's unique compared to Devilman itself, even though they are covering roughly the same story. So it is a thing of like that would still be up there, right? Other than that, every other series like Fist of the North Star, Bleach, all that sort of shit would be off my list because it's like, well, then it doesn't cover everything, right? So that's the thing, is like cutting out small details, completely fine. And it's fine, like the world building and all that, like if it's not there, that's also fine. But I am very glad to see that from what I could tell, all the major stuff was in there. I kind of wish the sparring match was in there, but again, seeing as the Elsa stuff was in there, I feel like that almost equals it out, right? Just to me personally, like I'd love to have both, but it is a thing of like essentially how I would view it from a narrative perspective. I would view that as if both the sparring match and Elsa was in there. That would be forcing it down the viewer's throat, right? That would be forcing it down the viewer's throat of, yeah, that's how Garfield feels right now, right? A big part of this whole arc is building his story arc, right? And like him being the strong, like trying to be the strongest and all that. But the thing is, the rest of this arc is still going to cover a lot with him. We're still going to get a lot there. So I don't think we have to fret over something like that not being in there. Because I feel like that plus the Elsa stuff might be a little bit too much. But because we have it the way we do, of, oh yeah, Reinhardt is this very intimidating presence to him, and he gets blocked and all this sort of shit. And then that, like, mind sort of shit happens to him while he's just out on that evening, and Mimi kind of interrupts it, just making it all fade away. That works perfectly, in my opinion. I think that is really well done. I might have a few complaints later if I find out about major stuff that was cut out that I don't remember. But overall, like, that's the thing, right? Is adaptations aren't going to be necessarily perfect, so I don't expect it to do every single thing. But overall, I am very satisfied. We are absolutely back. We are eating. This is like legitimately. It feels like we're back, and I am glad that the moment that I get to watch this shit week by week, right? It isn't Arc 4 where people had a lot of complaints about cut content and the animation looking stiff sometimes, or not really stiff, but more so looking really odd. You know, immediate thing I think of is Subaru saying, I've seen hell, and then, you know, you see his face there, and it's like, wow, that is not drawn well. Um, the like all that sort of shit. I'm kind of glad that's not what I got to experience week by week in a sense, right? As much as it would still be exciting, it is a thing of I'm glad that's not what it was. I got to experience this week by week, right? And I'm going to be, right? This is really damn cool. Like I am very happy about that. And overall, I'm excited for the next few episodes, right? It should be obvious from like what some people know. There's a few characters I'm very excited to see. One in particular, they'll probably be like within the next few episodes. Probably, I don't know. It's tough to say because like I don't even know what the next episode's gonna fully cover. Right, the next episode is gonna be shorter. It's gonna be a proper 20 minutes sort of thing. We might actually get to see the opening and ending, so it will cover less, and we probably won't see them that. I think episode 3 or 4. In my opinion, episode 3 or 4 is when we'll see them. I think that's roughly when. What with that said, that was really good. I'm very excited. This on weirdly enough, this makes me excited to do my Arc 9 review. Like I am really excited to just start recording that, edit it, go through that. That should be fun. That should be very fun. But all right, I think that's about it. We'll be back next week, obviously. But as for now, and it also will be shorter, of course. As for now, take care. Have yourselves a great night, peeps. Uh, if you're interested and you're not anime only, you know, you could check out the main channel. I don't usually promote shit, but I mean, I'm doing that now because it's ReZero related. You know, you might want to see some of the reviews or theory videos on there. And I am also going to say, uh, not that it'll interest like too many people probably, but by the end of the week, I will also be reacting to Bleach, which I'm very excited for. I'll be doing that. I am gonna react to that, but I don't know that I'm gonna react to stuff like Dragon Ball Daima, stuff like that. As much as I am super excited about Daima, um, especially after earlier this year, I don't know that I am necessarily gonna, you know, sit down and be like, oh, like, welcome to it, like this Daima reaction, you know, all that sort of shit. I think that I will just watch week by week, but I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna react to that. I think it's just this and Bleach is just gonna be my week by week. But that's it. Take care. Have yourselves a great night, peeps. Review will be out soon for Arc 9, all that. Probably by the end of the week, much like Bleach. But yeah, that's about it. So, have yourselves a great night, like I said, and we will see you all next week or by the end of the week or with an Arc 9 review or whatever. Farewell, peeps.